From Jet 24, your weather authority, this is your forecast first.
Some limited sun through the clouds right now. Some lake effect clouds kicking in, and we might squeeze out a flurry or two, but so far nothing showing up on our storm tracker. A little cold out there, 25 degrees and a northerly wind. We expect temperatures to hit the upper 20s today. Mix of sun and clouds and maybe just a few flurries. Rest of the forecast after your headlines. Jet 24 Action News starts now.
From your news leader.
Coming up, the latest on the impeachment trial of Donald Trump, who will be testifying this afternoon. Plus, an announcement from LECOM this afternoon dealing with vaccinations and where you can get yours. And Mayor Joe Schember announcing February as Benjamin Wiley Month. We'll tell you what led to this decision.
Live in high definition from your news leader. This is Jet 24 Action News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. The latest on the unprecedented second impeachment trial of former President Trump. Yesterday, the House impeachment managers shocked senators who are also jurors with harrowing audio and never before seen video of the mob attack on the Capitol. This is new today at noon. ABC's Faith Abube reports from the Capitol.
Senators who are acting as jurors in Donald Trump's historic second impeachment trial got to see for the first time just how close some of them came to being caught by the violent mob that stormed the U.S. Capitol. Using never-before-seen images and audio, the House impeachment managers attempting to make their case that Trump spent weeks inciting the deadly siege and did little to stop it once it started.
On January 6th, President Trump left everyone in this Capitol for dead.
The managers playing videos of the mob hunting for lawmakers.
Nancy! Where are you, Nancy?
Also shown in the chamber, security footage of former Vice President Mike Pence being hustled to a secure location. It came just 2 minutes after Trump tweeted that Pence did not have the courage to do what needed to be done.
They were talking about assassinating the vice president.
The managers also playing police body camera footage showing officers being beaten and their radio calls for backup.
Capital injuries, multiple capital injuries.
In another chilling video, Senator Mitt Romney unknowingly walking straight towards the mob until Officer Eugene Goodman directs him away. Other senators seen being hustled to safety.
But for the grace of God, they would have gotten us, all of us.
The House impeachment managers also detailing Trump's months-long attempts to cast doubt on the election results and played video of one of the rioters using a bullhorn to repeat Trump's tweets in real time, showing the mob was closely listening to the former president.
Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done.
And Trump's defense team has repeatedly said the former president never used the word fight literally and that he never incited violence. They'll get a chance to make that case after the House impeachment managers wrap up later on today. Faith Abube, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Now to COVID-19, with thousands of additional vaccine doses expected to be shipped out to Philadelphia as production increases, there is one plan in place that doesn't yet have the approval of the mayor and the health commissioner. A mass vaccination site at Eagle Stadium. Maggie Kent has our story.
At Levi Stadium in San Francisco, it's a walk-up program. Outside Dodger Stadium in LA are lines of cars full of people ready to be vaccinated. So why not here at Lincoln Financial Field? Today, members of City Council and former leaders like former Congressman Bob Brady and former Mayor John Street are publicly asking Mayor Kenney,
join with us, work together. We don't have to work in silos.
Calling the mass vaccination plan at the link Operation Philly Special. At Tuesday's COVID press conference, Health Commissioner Farley said this.
If we ran a mass clinic down there, we would be vaccinating more people from New Jersey or Delaware than we would from the city of Philadelphia.
One serious issue raised by Mayor Kenney is equity. A drive-through clinic would prevent those without vehicles from participating. The coalition fighting for the stadium site says SEPTA could be an integral part in helping people get to the South Philadelphia complex. Today, a city spokesperson released a statement in response to this plan, saying in part, "Are you deliberately trying to ensure that white, privileged suburban residents of other counties and states are prioritized for vaccination vaccination over black and brown taxpayers of Philadelphia, because that is what this plan will do.
That is a kind of an insulting comment to make, but I will say this. Our goal is to have Dr. Stanford from the Black Doctors Coalition organize this. And if anyone has worked with Dr. Stanford, you will know that she's probably doing one of the best jobs in the city to make sure there's access and equity.
Dr. Stanford saying today that she's seen people who aren't from low-income communities take advantage of her vaccine clinics, essentially jumping line in front of the neediest people. In terms of this Operation Philly special plan,
a lot of folks don't go to the link. I mean, let's just be honest, even when it's warm out. So just the fact that there's a subway stop there is not going to be enough for some folks.
And that was reporting on the COVID-19. All right, moving on to our next story here. The number of COVID-19 cases in our area, as you can see, those cases are going up. New cases at 3,378 cases right now. 125 new deaths reported for a total now of 22,745 total deaths. Now, on Wednesday, the county reported 23 new cases, that total now reaching 16,220. There were also 5 more deaths reported as well. Crawford County reporting 32 additional cases. Warren County was up 14. In Chautauqua County, 40 new cases were reported, while Ashtabula County reports 98. Across the Commonwealth, State Department of Health reporting 3,378 new cases, bringing the cumulative number now to over 880,000. The state also reporting 125 new deaths, bringing the total number of people that have died from COVID-19 in the state to 22,745. LECOM Health and the Erie County Department of Health expanding its COVID-19 vaccination site at the Bayfront Convention Center. The decision comes after months of planning between LECOM Health and Erie Events. More than 400 people are expected to receive a vaccine during today's trial run. Vaccine appointments will take place on Mondays and Thursdays. Now, you must have an appointment with LECOM to receive a vaccine.
Once we have a greater supply of vaccine, we can get many, many people through here during the day. So I'm just thrilled that we are finally to the point where we can actually offer something for the public at this great space.
LECOM Health's website for COVID-19 appointments is reopened. You can head to our website, yourerie.com, for more information. Well, Mayor Joe Schember announcing February as Benjamin Wiley Month in the city of Erie. Benjamin Wiley was an active community leader who advocated for the most vulnerable. Mayor Schember says Wiley has done so much for the community of color and the poor. He established a community charter school in the city of Erie. Well, now the mayor proclaimed the month of February to be Benjamin Wiley Month in the city of Erie.
I encourage everyone to follow us on social media throughout the month of February as we showcase Black businesses as well as local and national African American legends and their accomplishments.
You can visit yourerie.com to find out where you can keep track of events honoring Black history. Well, a former Erie car dealer convicted of fraud scheduled to be sentenced today. This is continuing coverage this afternoon. Andy Gabler, who ran Lakeside Auto's 3-location, faces up to 30 years in prison and a fine of up to $1 million. Gabler and his former finance manager, Chad Bednarski, faced sentencing after admitting to submitting fake paperwork and loan sales. Bednarski's sentencing is scheduled for February 12th. Well, volunteers in Union City have been recalled to the scene of an overnight house fire this noon after part of that house reignited. Those crews were first called to this home at 80 East High Street around 1:30 this morning. First responders found a fully involved house fire with flames coming out the windows and burning through the roof. No one was hurt, but that home, as you can see, is considered a total loss. Investigators are looking for a cause. Meanwhile, late Wednesday night, fire crews called out to a house fire in Harbor Creek. Those calls were tapped out around 11:30 Wednesday night to the 3700 block of Harbor Green Road. When crews arrived on that scene, they found a fire in the chimney that spread to the home's interior walls. Pennsylvania State Police honoring a Mill Creek woman's efforts in helping a state trooper in an incident last fall. Lilia Steblik was honored with a Citizens Award for her courage. The award stemming from an incident one morning in late October of last year when Steblik heard gunshots from her home in Mill Creek. When she witnessed a lone trooper chase down an armed suspect, she called for backup. The trooper had no radio or cell phone and was stuck in a difficult situation. Steblik also provided first aid to the suspect after the trooper shot him in the hand. She encourages members of the community to help law enforcement when you can.
As a citizen, I think just for us to be brave, for our community people to be brave, to not be afraid to respond and help out our law enforcement.
Many state troopers at Wednesday's ceremony say it's comforting to know that there are people like Steblik out there who are willing to help police. Well, as the cold temperatures continue, animal shelters are making sure that all animals are staying warm. The Erie Humane Society is providing all 35 dogs with extra blankets. There are heated floors for dogs that are housed in their kennels to keep them extra warm. Now, the shelter also provides extra blankets for its 80 cats. Nicole Leone, the executive director of the Erie Humane Society, says when the temperatures dip below 32 degrees, pet owners need to be mindful of how long their pets are staying outside. She recommends allowing pets be out no more than 30 minutes.
In our case, if they're out romping around in the courtyards and they're playing, we're really keeping track of time. We're making sure they're not out any longer than 15 minutes, and then we're bringing them in.
Well, if you'd like to make donations to the Humane Society, just visit our website at yourerie.com. Well, coming up on Jet 24 Action News at noon, the boss is charged. Bruce Springsteen in hot water this afternoon after a DUI charge placed against him. Well, it didn't take long for sponsors to react. We'll have more on that after Tom's forecast.
Clouds and sun was a hit on into the afternoon here on our weather cam. Not a bad looking afternoon and pretty tranquil the next couple of days. More details after the break.
From your news leader, you're watching David Belmondo and meteorologist Tom DeVecchio. This is Jet 24 Action News at noon.
Want the whole story? Go to yourerie.com, where you'll have access to digital exclusive news stories and extended interviews. On the go and want to stay connected to what's happening? No problem. Use the Your Erie To Go app and enjoy all the same digital exclusive content, where you want it, when you need it. Stay informed and stay connected with yourerie.com and Your Erie To Go digital exclusives. Your Erie To Go, available for both Android and iOS.
See live views from around our area on yourerie.com's WeatherCam network. See shots from the WeatherCam network during every newscast and online anytime at yourerie.com.
Come rain or come shine, summer is here, and so is your weather authority. The most experienced weather team in the area and the most up-to-date technology to keep you prepared and safe for whatever Mother Nature brings all summer long. Just like you know how unpredictable our weather can be, you know to count on your weather authority so you can stay comfortable and safe. Tom, and Craig, online, on the go, on air, wherever you need them. Jet 24 is your summer weather authority.
This week, Jill McCormick sits down with local leaders and organizers for the whole story. Go to yourerie.com and the Your Erie To Go app's digital exclusives. Want your news first? We've got you covered.
Download the Your Erie To Go app now.
Get news alerts sent straight to your phone.
Stay safe and informed with severe weather warnings and regular weather updates, whenever and wherever you need them.
Download Your Erie To Go now from the App Store for free.
Get your Jet 24 news and weather where you need it and when you want it. Your Erie To Go. Available for both Android and iOS. Download it for free and stay connected.
From Jet 24, here's meteorologist Tom DeVecchio, your weather authority.
A couple of flakes flew earlier this morning. That's about it. Nice and tranquil. The skies clear out. Beautiful sunshine earlier. But the lake is still open enough where we are getting some lake effect clouds starting to come back in on a northerly flow. Here's our new Motors weather cam. Nice view, of course, of the landfill there. Interesting, that place where there's garbage actually looks pretty decent, covered in snow. Pretty shot there. And some blue skies here in between. The air is still pretty dry and the lake very cold and, as mentioned, partially ice covered. So we should be able to at least stay with some sunshine for the balance of the afternoon. We'll have some shots of flurries now and then this afternoon through tomorrow, along with some of that sunshine. And then the weekend, we will see some snow showers, but mainly Saturday night and into perhaps the early morning hours of Valentine's Day. So night snow Saturday. Some will probably come in the afternoon, but not much. And the snow should end probably soon after sunrise on Sunday. But it stays cold, lower to mid-20s. No big warm up here. Many of our weather watchers in the lower to mid-20s, including the 23 at Penn State Barron. Carroll Union City, oddly enough, one of the warmer spots at 26. Corey 24, 23 at the Borough. McCain, Keith, that's 22. Most of our weather watchers reported anywhere from a coating to an inch of snow from last night. Mike has 25 in Sagertown, Meadville 26. Same for Kathy out in Youngsville. So here's a nice look at our visible satellite picture. Not many clouds over the lake. There you can see the batches of ice and ice along the lake shore, but we still have a decent amount of open areas. Lake Erie probably looks like roughly 30 to 40% ice cover. And some of those clouds streaming in, and there may be just enough where we may get a little bit of a flurry activity. And we're going to keep that threat pretty much into early Saturday morning. We do have this trough kind of hanging around the main low here. Oh, what a mess in the West Virginia, Carolina area for today into tonight, but that's well to our south. So this trough kind of meanders, and not much moisture with it, so that's why we're keeping the threat of at least some flurries from time to time. But really, right on through Friday night, not a whole lot expected. Saturday, we'll find the moisture getting a little more entrenched. Now the trough becomes the focus of a little bit more moisture, but really it won't be until probably Saturday night that we see any appreciable moisture from that. So for this afternoon here along the lakeshore, mix of sun and clouds, maybe a flurry or two. Temperatures in the middle to upper 20s. Farther inland, we'll have partly sunny skies and some possible flurries here and there. No accumulations. Temperatures also in the middle to upper 20s. In the Chautauqua-Allegheny area, partly cloudy, perhaps a flurry or two, and mid to upper 20s for you as well. More clouds, scattered flurries tonight, little if any accumulations. Low teens in the mountains, upper teens along the lake shore. And for tomorrow, variable cloudiness and flurries in the morning, partly sunny for the afternoon, and highs in the upper 20s. From your Weather Authority, for Saturday, we'll keep it dry in the morning, some light snow in the afternoon. Don't expect more than an inch by the end of the day. Most of the snow will fall Saturday night, couple of inches, and should end by Sunday. And then round two of some snow, could be some decent amounts on Tuesday, something that we will watch. You can get updates to that forecast as well. Head to our website, yourerie.com.
Thanks, Tom. Coming up on Jet 24 Action News at noon, yes, it is the mother of all snowflakes. We'll tell you how this flake came to be. Find out more after the break.
Want the whole story? Go to yourerie.com, where you'll have access to digital exclusive news stories and extended interviews. On the go and want to stay connected to what's happening? No problem. Use the Your Erie To Go app and enjoy all the same digital exclusive content, where you want it, when you need it. Stay informed and stay connected with yourerie.com and Your Erie To Go digital exclusives. Your Erie To Go, available for both Android and iOS.
See live views from around our area on YourErie.com's WeatherCam network. See shots from the WeatherCam network during every newscast and online anytime at YourErie.com.
Come rain or come shine, summer is here, and so is your weather authority. the most experienced weather team in the area, and the most up-to-date technology to keep you prepared and safe for whatever Mother Nature brings all summer long. Just like you know how unpredictable our weather can be, you know to count on your weather authority so you can stay comfortable and safe. Tom, and Craig, online, on the go, on air, wherever you need them. Jet 24 is your summer weather authority.
This week, Jill McCormick sits down with local leaders and organizers for the whole story. Go to YourErie.com and the Your Erie To Go app's digital exclusives. Want your news first? We've got you covered.
Download the Your Erie To Go app now.
Get news alerts sent straight to your phone.
Stay safe and informed with severe weather warnings and regular weather updates, whenever and wherever you need them.
Download Your Erie To Go now from the App Store for free.
Get your Jet 24 news and weather where you need it and when you want it. Your Erie To Go. Available for both Android and iOS. Download it for free and stay connected.
All right, time now to take a look at today's market numbers, and at noon, the markets are mixed. The Dow leaking a little, dropping around 22. The NASDAQ making some gains, up just over 55. And the S&P 500 basically flat this hour, gaining just $4. Well, we turn now to the fallout after news that Bruce Springsteen was arrested for DWI in New Jersey back in November. The response has been swift, with Jeep now pulling the rock legend's Super Bowl commercial. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
We need the middle.
It was one of the most talked about commercials from Super Bowl Sunday.
Now, fear has never been the best of who we are.
But now Jeep says it's hitting the brakes on the ad until the actual facts can be established after news that its star, Bruce Springsteen, was arrested for allegedly drinking and driving 3 months ago. The National Park Service says the boss was cited for DWI, reckless driving, and consuming alcohol in a closed area in Gateway National Recreation Area in Sandy Hook, New Jersey. A spokesperson with the park telling ABC News Springsteen was cooperative throughout the process as he was taken into custody. The rock and roll icon has pumped out hits for decades like Born in the USA and Dancing in the Dark. Even shooting album covers and his music video for Brilliant Disguise at an abandoned warehouse in the same park he was arrested. Jeep tells ABC News it would be inappropriate for us to comment on the details of a matter we have only read about and we cannot substantiate. Adding drinking and driving can never be condoned. Springsteen opened up about his relationship with alcohol in his 2016 memoir, Born to Run, saying it's been fraught, writing he waited to have his first drink at age 22.
My experience with my father's drinking had been enough. The terrifying, all-engulfing presence he became when he drank convinced me to never go there. No, drinking wasn't for me.
ABC News reached out to Springsteen and his team. They are not yet commenting, and he is due to appear virtually in federal court later this month. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Well, volunteers in snowshoes helped an artist create the image of a giant snowflake using thousands of footsteps near Finland's capital. Local media say it could be the largest snow drawing ever made in the country. It took 2 days to create that complex geometric piece, and it's only going to last until the next snowfall. Take a look at that. A lot of work. Then as soon as it snows, it's gone. Coming up on Jet 24, Action News at noon. He called himself a proud pornographer and a fierce free speech champion. A look back at the life of Larry Flynt.
Want the whole story? Go to YourErie.com, where you'll have access to digital exclusive news stories and extended interviews. On the go and want to stay connected to what's happening? No problem. Use the Your Erie To Go app and enjoy all the same digital exclusive content, where you want it, when you need it. Stay informed and stay connected with YourErie.com and Your Erie To Go digital exclusives. Your Erie To Go, available for both Android and iOS.
See live views from around our area on YourErie.com's WeatherCam network. See shots from the WeatherCam network during every newscast and online anytime at YourErie.com.
Come rain or come shine, summer is here, and so is your weather authority, the most experienced weather team in the area, and the most up-to-date technology to keep you prepared and safe for whatever Mother Nature brings all summer long. Just like you know how unpredictable our weather can be, you know to count on your weather authority so you can stay comfortable and safe. Tom, and Craig, online, on the go, on air, wherever you need them. Jet 24 is your summer weather authority.
This week, Jill McCormick sits down with local leaders and organizers for the whole story. Go to YourErie.com and the Your Erie To Go app's digital exclusives. Want your news first? We've got you covered.
Download the Your Erie To Go app now.
Get news alerts sent straight to your phone.
Stay safe and informed with severe weather warnings and regular weather updates, whenever and wherever you need them.
Download Your Erie To Go now from the App Store for free.
Get your Jet 24 news and weather where you need it and when you want it. Your Erie To Go. Available for both Android and iOS. Download it for free and stay connected.
Going on in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
And fierce free speech champion Larry Flynt has died. The man behind the Hustler magazine empire had battled health problems for over 40 years after he was shot and left partially paralyzed by a white supremacist upset by an interracial photo shoot in Hustler. Flynt long said he was most proud of his fight for free speech, which earned him a landmark Supreme Court win in 1988. Larry Flynt was 78.
Whoever you are, wherever you're from, it's what connects us.
Bruce Springsteen's tenure as car commercial pitchman was short. Jeep has pulled the Super Bowl ad. It ran Sunday. Springsteen's first time ever doing a commercial after word Wednesday that he had been arrested for driving while intoxicated back in November in his home state of New Jersey. The ad has disappeared from Jeep's YouTube page.
I can't see him coming down my eyes, so I gotta make the song cry.
Jay-Z and Foo Fighters among those nominated for the first time to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Groundbreaking band The Go-Go's and rocker Todd Rundgren, also first-timers. 16 nominees in all, including Devo, Dionne Warwick, and now 6-time nominee LL Cool J. The 2021 class will be announced in May. And one of everybody's favorite friends with a birthday today, Jennifer Aniston, is 52, while Grammy-winning singer Kelly Rowland is 40. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A White Bear Lake, Minnesota long-term care facility celebrated getting second doses of the COVID-19 vaccine this week with a Wizard of Oz theme party. Staff members dressed up as characters from the classic. Even a harpist was brought in to perform. All the residents had to do to get their second dose of the vaccine was, yeah, that's right, follow the yellow brick road. Tom with one final look at the forecast when we come back.
Want the whole story? Go to YourErie.com, where you'll have access to digital exclusive news stories and extended interviews. On the go and want to stay connected to what's happening? No problem. Use the Your Erie To Go app and enjoy all the same digital exclusive content, where you want it, when you need it. Stay informed and stay connected with YourErie.com and Your Erie To Go digital exclusives. Your Erie To Go, available for both Android and iOS.
See live views from around our area on YourErie.com's WeatherCam network. See shots from the WeatherCam network during every newscast and online anytime at YourErie.com.
Come rain or come shine, summer is here, and so is your weather authority, the most experienced weather team in the area, and the most up-to-date technology to keep you prepared and safe for whatever Mother Nature brings all summer long. Just like you know how unpredictable our weather can be, you know to count on your weather authority so you can stay comfortable and safe. Tom, and Craig, online, on the go, on air, wherever you need them. Jet 24 is your summer weather authority.
This week, Jill McCormick sits down with local leaders and organizers for the whole story. Go to YourErie.com and the Your Erie To Go app's digital exclusives. Want your news first? We've got you covered.
Download the Your Erie To Go app now.
Get news alerts sent straight to your phone.
Stay safe and informed with severe weather warnings and regular weather updates, whenever and wherever you need them.
Download Your Erie to Go now from the App Store for free.
Get your Jet 24 news and weather where you need it and when you want it. Your Erie to Go. Available for both Android and iOS. Download it for free and stay connected.
Hey, all in all, it wasn't a bad morning.
No, and a good-looking afternoon here, Dave, as we check things out on our New Motors weather cam. Looking east toward the landfill, you can see a lot of puffy clouds, but most of them will be snow-free as we head into the rest of the afternoon. And we're looking at temperatures staying in the mid to upper 20s. Some flurries tomorrow morning. And then some late afternoon snow showers Saturday. Better chances Saturday night. A couple of inches expected. Should end, though, by early Sunday morning. Another round, though, expected for the beginning of next week.
Cupid better wear a little jacket.
Yes, a heavy jacket.
Could be cold.
And windy.
And windy. Thank you, Tom. Well, that's all the time we have for Jet 24 Action News at noon. Of course, if you missed our top stories, see them anytime online at yourerie.com. And don't forget to tune in tonight at 5 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.